Ah, the fantasy RPG. Dragon's Dogma is Capcom's take on the fantasy epic, and as a fantasy fan, dare I say it has one of the coolest story intros in a game I've ever seen.
It's the dragon!
A terrible dragon attacks your small fishing village, terrorizing and slaughtering your people. You, naught but a peasant, take up arms and bravely take on the beast all by yourself. But he swats you like a fly, plucks your heart from your chest, and eats it.
Miraculously, you're brought back to life with magic by the dragon and instructed to seek him out and challenge him for your heart. You are hereafter known as the Arisen, and with some newfound strength, some magical abilities, and some devoted companions, you set off on your epic quest. Your first task after customizing your character in a wonderfully detailed and extensive customization menu, I might add, is being introduced to the concept of pawns.
Yes, Arisen.
Pawns are a kind of mystical race of devoted, soulless golem things that exist only to serve in a time of crisis. In this case, their duty is to you, the Arisen and future Dragon Slayer.
You can have up to 3 pawns at one time, or various classes to make up your party. One of these will always be your pawn, which you will customize and shape to your liking, initially with a rather clever survey which will ultimately determine their class and inclination. And this is just one of the many little things I love about this game, Hex, such as how your pawns collect items on the ground for you and loot, and you can also sit down with your pawn and give them a good talking to if you want to readjust their combat tactics.
Aiding my fellow pawns will be my first priority.
Pawns are great.
I am honored to travel with you.
Other pawns can be swapped in and out whenever you encounter a rift stone. You can set favorites and even hire your own pawn out to other players who can give them gifts upon their return. We couldn't test out online functionality with our code, but it's a cool idea.
Yeah, and it's a nice system because each pawn has different strengths, weaknesses, abilities, and personalities. I just found that I didn't really care about them because they're sort of not real people. They're just these zombie-like drones who are like, I live to serve you, master. And if one dies, you can just go back into the rift and get a new one.
That's why I like them. They're my underlings.
From this day, the Legion's men called pawns live and die by your command.
I did feel a connection to them when I went to trade in another one, though, because you feel like they've lost the popularity contest and you're sending them away and getting a new one in.
Is everything in order, Master? May I pass?
Sorry, buddy. Talk too much.
Although I did quite enjoy having my badass group of ladies with me. Better watch your back, beasts of the land of Grancis.
But let's talk about the classes. Initially, you can only choose from 3 vocations: Fighter, Mage, and Strider. But as you level up, you can upgrade to evolved versions of these vocations with a vast array of abilities using a combination of magic and melee. Or simply pick a new vocation altogether. I thought this was really interesting.
Yeah, now, when we reviewed Kingdoms of Lamalur Reckoning, I was fiercely against this idea of just changing your class willy-nilly, but now I have to say I'm kind of enjoying it. I mean, I stuck within my range, mind you. I started out as a Strider, and, you know, I always go the Rogue Hunter option, and I evolved eventually into a Ranger and then a Magic Archer. Oh my god, badge, so cool. I had daggers with a whole host of insane attacks, slicing and dicing, tossing targets into the air and firing explosives at them, aerial dashes. My bow would rain arrows down on trolls, but I could also play at mage with a staff, which let me do this, and this. And this is just the Magic Archer class. I mean, there are 9 vocations in this game.
Yeah, so much to choose from. I love the sword play, especially the Tusk Toss ability, which launches your enemies into the air, and my personal favorite, the Flesh Skewer. Combat is just so fluid and reactive. I love getting in there and hacking away while my pawns rain down arrows and all sorts of stuff going off. Oh, it's exciting.
I love the fact that I could begin a fight with a mage's staff and then switch to daggers halfway through. This gave me a wonderful mix of ranged attacks, but then getting up close and personal by utilizing the game's awesome grab mechanic to climb up onto the beast and attack its head as it thrashed around.
Yeah, the grab mechanic is just great, isn't it? It reminded me of Shadow of the Colossus a bit, and I'm surprised more games haven't done this. It just makes sense to be able to grab onto an enemy and attack them like this, rather than just attacking their feet or using a quick time event. It's one of those great, simple ideas that just makes combat so engaging.
And that sense of accomplishment you get when you take an enemy down is just so much more satisfying.
I did find in some of those larger beast battles, though, that camera got really messy. If out in the open, these fights look amazing, but often you're near trees and spend half your time with your vision obscured by pixelated branches.
I know. In fact, I found the nature of these fights to be quite messy in general. In this one fight with a Hydra, I was clinging on for dear life and the camera was swinging around so much I had no idea what was happening half the time. You and your pawns work together in battle and you need to keep them alive as well as yourself, but their contribution to each fight is immeasurable. They'll utilize their various attacks and abilities to not only pound their fair share of damage into an enemy, but also assist by setting your weapons aflame.
Now, my fire is yours!
Sometimes they'll even hold an enemy for you while you strike the killing blow.
That map is just begging to be explored, both due to the lay of the land itself and its many nooks and crannies to find chests, herbs, and treasure, and the frequent urging of your pawns, who constantly chat to you and let you know if there's danger or if you're going in the wrong direction, or what there is to gain from traveling a certain path.
Yes, but ye gods, the best advice your pawns will give you is to fear the night. A lantern will help you in dark times, but nothing will save you if you're caught in the forest after dark. By night, horrible ambushes of bandits, death knights, the undead, and chimera will rain down upon you and your band of travelers in a whole heap of unpleasantness. Oh, and save often, because the autosaves in this game are brutal.
Yeah, it adds a real sense of danger, doesn't it? Especially if you lose track of time and you're out there miles away from safety and that sun starts to set. You can fast travel with fairy stones, but they are very rare indeed. This means the land has to be traversed in the most traditional way, on foot, and whatever dangers you encounter along the way have to be faced head on. Prepare for a lot of replaying and a lot of rerunning across half the map if you forget to save.
Yeah, at one point I travelled all the way out to this fort in the forest, but then it got dark and I was just so terrified to leave the castle and head home in the darkness that I just literally waited there all night until the dawn. They got the difficulty just right here. It's punishing, but then so rewarding, and yet it fills you with so much dread of what lurks beyond. I found myself just panic saving every 5 seconds at one point.
Me too, but that's mostly because I didn't want to redo any of the quests. I think the bulk of the quests of this game are sadly a bit of a letdown. For the first part of the game, you're really only strong enough to do the quests which go from the village to the main city and up the coast in between, and most of those are just kill 10 of this, kill 20 of that, and it just gets a bit grindy and repetitive.
Plus there's all these escort missions.
I hate escort missions.
I know, and there's so many of them. Sometimes I'd set out and not even realize I had some dude with me I was supposed to take somewhere, so I'd politely tell him that I wasn't interested in helping him right now.
I love that you can pick up just about anything in this game. It's a really fun feature, and I must say, I think I spent the best part of my first hour picking up pots and throwing them at people who are asleep, throwing people at people, and throwing rabbits off cliffs. Don't get in my way, rabbit.
I also thought the stamina system in this game was really well implemented. Running, jumping, combat all use up stamina, and managing this in battle as well as health is just as important. If you completely run out of stamina, recovering it takes a few precious moments, and if you're caught off guard in battle, it can mean a quick death.
You can use potions and herbs to recover your stamina and health in a fight. And you have to be careful when you're sprinting through the forest too, because you can run out of stamina and then get ambushed, and then you're vulnerable. As usual, your trusty pawns will help you if you run out of breath though. Thanks, guys.
There's so much about this world that really sings of a sense of realism and attention to detail. It's a wonderful landscape to explore. There's just a host of little annoyances that turned what could have been a near-perfect game into a good game with quite a few foibles. I just hated 80% of the quests in this game, and this is a big game with nearly 100 hours of content if you do nearly everything.
And you need to do those quests too, otherwise you won't be strong enough to do the main storyline.
Yeah, exactly. But thankfully though, there is lots of opportunities to make your own fun. And as someone who enjoys customizing and managing abilities, I thoroughly enjoyed doing all this for both myself and my main pawn. Just a couple of gals going shopping for swords and vambraces.
I only wish I had more to offer.
Look, I haven't felt such a genuine fear of the dark in a game like this before. I think it's just excellent, and I had a great time with it. So I'm giving it 7.5 out of 10 rubber chickens.
Yeah, there are a few things holding it back, and it could have done with a bit of polish in some areas, but this combat was just so interesting to me. I stuck with it just for that, so I'm giving it 8 out of 10.
Good